Kakashi Hatake, not just a shinobi, he is a walking contradiction, a genius who never wanted glory, a prodigy forged in grief, and the quiet heartbeat of Konoha, even when the world forgot to listen. From the moment he appeared on screen wearing that mask, slouched posture, and bored tone, Kakashi was the kind of character who didn't need to scream to dominate the room. He carried himself like someone who had already seen the ending of every story and accepted the fact that most endings are tragic. But behind that casual demeanor sits a man who witnessed more loss by the age of 13 than most shinobi face in their lifetime. His father, Obito, Ren, Minato, Konoha's future, past, and promise each slipping from his fingers. And Kakashi did what broken geniuses do best. He kept moving, he kept fighting, he kept teaching. He became the copy ninja, the shinobi of 1,000 jutsu, and a guardian silently shaping Konoha's next generation while carrying the weight of one crushed dream after another. And he was the man every villain respected even before they fought him. I'm telling you, everybody knew about his game. He was just that type of player right there. Thank God he wasn't a villain. Zabuza called him elite the second he laid eyes on him. That's crazy. He's got an eye for talent. Itachi warned Kisame not to underestimate him. Pain himself acknowledged his precision and resolve, and even though Kakashi wasn't the strongest nor the loudest, he was the most complete shinobi of his era. Intellect like Shikamaru, instinct like Minato, versatility like Orochimaru, calm like a seasoned Hokage long before he became one. He is the perfect blend of everything a ninja should become, and the tragic reminder of what this world forces you to be. Here we go. And here's my very, very, very hot take. Piping hot. I'm scared to even say it. I know the ridicule I'm gonna get. But Kakashi should have died during the pain invasion. Yes, I said it. Okay, calm down. Not because he wasn't strong and not because he wasn't loved, but thematically and narratively, it was the perfect ending for him, in my opinion. For a man who spent his whole life losing people he loved, this was the moment where he finally chose to die protecting the village he once felt disconnected from. His entire arc was building towards one thing: atonement. Atonement for failing Obito, atonement for killing Ran, and atonement for not saving Minato's dream of peace. And I personally think that Naruto losing both his senseis in this arc in such a short period of time would have made him defeating Pain that much more impactful. And Kakashi would have died until Pain magically revived everybody with his reverse Shinra Tensei. Just kidding, calm down. I know it's Rinna Rebirth, which in my opinion is probably one of the biggest ass pulls in history. And he quote unquote didn't know how to use his Rinnegan to his full ability. Yeah. It completely undermined everything that happened. This massacre of Konoha was so tragic, and it was an opportunity to show what Konoha would look like once it lost its superpower role. With Jiraiya and Kakashi out of the story, I would have loved to see how other villages would have reacted to this, because I believe each nation would have thought about how to take advantage of the Land of Fire. Had he not done this, there would have been no Konoha left. I mean, he literally wiped out basically 100% of the military. All the Chunins, most of the Jonins. I mean, there would have been like 20 shinobis left. And basically, once Rinne Rebirth happened, Konoha basically went to becoming a superpower again, especially with Danzo gaining control for that small period of time where Tsunade was incapacitated. And the fact that they were able to withstand the strongest rogue shinobi meant nobody was touching Konoha now. That was completely out of the window. But here is how I would rewrite how Kakashi dies, because I can remove Rinne Rebirth from happening without ruining the story. Let me set the scene. Jiraiya's death was the earthquake, but Kakashi should have been the aftershock, the one that finally cracked the world open. The moment Jiraiya dies is not just news that reaches Konoha, it becomes a call to action, one that Tsunade and especially Kakashi can't ignore. Because if Jiraiya was Wandering Storm, Kakashi was the silent sky right before it breaks. Kakashi is the one who receives the message first. He's walking through the village, masked as calm as ever, when Fukasaku appears bloodied, shaking, and barely standing. The words stab deeper than any kunai. Jiraiya boy has fallen. Kakashi freezes, his breath leaves him, his vision tunnels. This wasn't just the death of Asani. This was the death of Minato's master, the man who trained his teacher, and the man who carried the dream of peace before anybody believed in it. And beneath it all, Jiraiya was the last adult who ever looked at Kakashi with hope. The moment hits like a second Rin, a second Obito, and a second Minato. And Kakashi, who has survived every grief imaginable, feels something in him finally fracture. But Tsunade is the one that pushes him to do it. She knows something darker is coming, and in this timeline, she lets Kakashi investigate, keeping him from going on any other missions to confirm the identity of the Akatsuki leader, and it is only a mission he could handle. Kakashi then travels to Amagakure, not as a copy ninja, but as a man retracing the steps of someone he respected deeply. He investigates the same canals, the same bridges, even the same rain-soaked rooftops where Jiraiya made his last stand. And with every piece of evidence he uncovers, Kakashi can now feel a looming shadow of something monstrous. He reads the coded message Jiraiya left, and he begins piecing together the truth of Nagato. But it's too late. He already found Pain. Or Pain found him. And unlike the manga where Kakashi faces Pain during the invasion, he meets him alone in Amagakure, surrounded by endless rain and steel. The atmosphere is suffocating, the sky is black, and Pain's Rinnegan reflects no mercy, only duty. And yet Kakashi stands firm, knowing he's about to receive the jumping of a lifetime. And I would have loved to see the shit talk Kakashi would have gave Pain before their fight. It would have been good, I'm not gonna lie to you, but he still would have died in like 5 minutes. He probably would only defeat one Pain and maybe wound another because there's no way in hell Pain or Kakashi could beat him. He would flat out get stomped. His best jutsu is Kamui, and it's completely useless in a fast-paced battle. It works better on long-range targets, so he's more effective as an archer type of role in a fight, but because he has no backup, he just has to throw hands. But the Rinnegan sees through all deception. Eventually, Kakashi is cornered in a flooded alley, chakra nearly depleted, body failing. Pain lifts him with invisible force and says, "You followed Jiraiya's path, and now you share his fate." And there's nothing he could say at this point. The trash talking is ended. Kakashi feels the crushing pressure begin, but then the world distorts. A familiar swirling space-time warp appears, and it's freaking Obito. Not to help, not to save, but to witness. Pain holds Kakashi suspended. Obito steps forward, mask glooming, voice quiet, and says, "You should have died with Rin." The greatest hater in history would have been revived. Oh my god, this scene would have broke the internet. Kakashi's heart breaks at the sound, not from the insult, but the tragedy behind it. He tries to reach Obito with the last seconds he has, and before Pain could pull back for the killing strike, Obito kills Kakashi himself. And as Kakashi fades, Obito whispers, "Don't worry, I'll handle the future you couldn't change." And Kakashi's story ends right here. And when I tell you, this would have hit so much harder. Because Kakashi would have died honoring Jiraiya's legacy and tragically dying at the hands of his long time best friend, known as Obito. But now here's the issue with taking this route. Kakashi was very instrumental in the 4th grade ninja war with fighting against Tell Beast and Madara. And I do think Nagato or Pain could have took his place because I do believe that the Talk no Jutsu still would have worked after Naruto defeated Pain, but it would have forced Nagato to switch sides. And that would have been pretty interesting because now you have an interesting dynamic where you would have saw Nagato versus Obito, the former Akatsuki leader versus the now Akatsuki leader. That would have been amazing for the war arc, in my opinion. But this would only happen in a world where Rinne Rebirth doesn't exist, and it doesn't need to. A lovely hypothetical, but the biggest problem with all of this is that we wouldn't get to see the greatest fight in all of anime, which is Kakashi versus Obito. This fight actually changed so many lives. This set the standard on what a top-tier fight looked like in the anime world, along with amazing storytelling. To this day, there's a few fights that have come close, but no fight that has surpassed this. The choreography alone set it apart, and I personally think Kakashi lasted way too long in this story. Like, once he got DMS, bruh, I was like, I was just tuning out of this story. The war arc was so long and just stopped making sense at a certain point. But there would actually be way too many changes to the story that would need to happen if Kakashi died in this Pain arc. But in my personal opinion, him dying at the hands of Obito would have been so tragically beautiful that it still would have been the most iconic moment in the story, leaving Kakashi with this story as his end. Just like Jiraiya died honoring Minato's, and just like Minato died protecting Naruto, a perfect heartbreaking lineage would have bestowed Kakashi Hatake.